Do you really want me to read these texts you just brought in?
Hey, Tom brought them in. They must be pre-approved.
So that means you can't get in trouble if you read them.
Yeah, you and Ron Burgundy.
I'm going to make John laugh, I think. Everybody's loving that. You're getting all these responses on text. People are loving you laughing, thanking you.
Your dishwasher humor. We are going to get into a Pistons trade proposal that John found, and I think is interesting. Feels kind of like a no-brainer. We'll get to it. Couple texts. What happens if your dishwasher breaks? Slap it on the butt and tell it to get back to the kitchen. Getting a glare from Heather. There's one more. John, how do you turn your dishwasher into a snowblower? You give her a shovel. He's going to be useless for a half hour now, so this probably wasn't a good idea.
I'm just thinking all the emails Jimmy's going to get later about all the inappropriate jokes. Come on, have a sense of humor.
Heather, do you want to talk Pistons trade while John's incapacitated?
Sure, let's do it.
On Twitch right now, they're debating on whether to date a clown or a witch.
248. That's our alternate question today. Maybe that'll be in the cookie jar this week.
Yes. Yeah. Would you rather?
Clown or witch?
Not sure about the witch. She got the broomstick.
Well, okay. I mean...
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, it all depends. Like, there's a lot of factors involved. I think it would be better to date a witch than a clown because I just don't know if a clown can be that sexy. A witch certainly can be.
Yeah, clown, you got to do some work.
Could be.
Most witches have like huge noses with warts all over their face. You
well,
know.
I mean,
green skin.
If you're looking at her face,
John. You really do want to get pulled into the boss's office. This is incredible.
Lights on or off?
He's on a heat check over here.
Half of what I'm laughing about, too, though, is the disgust every time I say something that Heather has.
I've thrown my pen like 10 times.
How about this? John, how do your daughters feel about your sense of humor? That's a text that just got sent in.
Yeah. They're very uncomfortable.
Okay, then.
Yeah, and that goes to like when your kids are old enough to start understanding your jokes. You have to obviously change some of your adult humor. But then they get old enough to understand them even more, and then they start joining in. So that's when it gets really uncomfortable.
So Michael Porter Jr.
Yes. Speaking about Pistons trade opportunities, the trade deadline is coming up at the beginning of February. I believe it's February 6th. And this one was floated out yesterday. Michael Porter Jr., it's not a new name that's been floated around as a possible trade target for the Detroit Pistons. And this one comes from CBS Sports, and the writer is Sam Quinn. And he proposes this. Pistons receive Michael Porter Jr. The Nets receive Tobias Harris, Jaden Ivey, 2028 first-round pick, and a 2027 second-round pick. And when I originally read this, I'm like, no-brainer. And I also kind of think, well, maybe there might need to be more. If you throw in another first, it would probably be a 28 first round and a 30 first round. And, if that's what it takes to get it done, I'm fine with that too. Go ahead, set a couple of first-round picks because I believe Michael Porter Jr. is under contract for another year, so it's not just this year that you would have him. Jaden Ivey is up after this year. Tobias Harris is up after this year, and it begs the question, what's the long-term plan for Jaden Ivey? And I don't even know if it matters what the long-term plan for Jaden Ivey is. It's what is best for this team and the opportunity that presents itself. That right now, you're the number one team in the Eastern Conference. The one thing that this team could really use, especially when you get into the more half-court game of the NBA postseason, is shooting.
Pistons are a great defense. They're great points in the paint. Not a great three-point shooting team, specifically front court shooting and spacing, and that's Michael Porter Jr., 40% from three on 9 attempts a game. 5th most attempted threes, and he's doing it at a 40% clip. Yeah, he solves the biggest issue with this basketball team. And, guys, I know no one wants to upset the chemistry.
But this happens for other franchises at other times when they've got good chemistry, but they add so that they can win Go further in the playoffs and win a championship.
And what are you giving up? Seriously, really? You're adding a player who can space the floor, play the front court, scoring 25 points per game. A true secondary scorer for Cade that rounds out your half-court offense, who will be here for 2 seasons or more. What are you giving up? You're giving up a pick that will be in the late first round, ideally 30, but let's call it 25. I'm not really worried about parting ways with that pick. And even if it was 2 firsts in the late first, no issue giving those up as a contender as the 1 seed in the East. How about the players? Tobias isn't expiring. You're literally 1-for-1 upgrading.
Yeah.
The only hesitation would be if you are convinced that Jaden Ivey's going to be a superstar. John, he comes off the bench and runs secondary offense. His shooting has been streaky. The last couple games he started, he didn't make a 3. I'm not anti-Jaden Ivey, but he's certainly not untouchable. So what is keeping me from making this trade? Ivey's a restricted free agent. Am I handing him a bag this offseason? I don't know. Why would I hold on to him any longer? This might be the last chance to cash out on some of his upside, and to do so, fill your biggest need, chase a championship. And it's not like this reckless move where I gave up Asar Thompson or Jalen Duren, things that were being discussed last summer. I'm not giving up Ron Holland. I'm not giving up key cornerstone pieces.
At least not in this version of the trade.
Right.
And if it takes more, then you start talking about some of those other pieces. And I think the only drawback would be, is this the best move that the Pistons could make? Because in the article, they talk about Lauri Markkanen, Jaren Jackson Jr., and so the equation would go into, what are you giving up for a Lauri Markkanen? What are you giving up for a Jaren Jackson Jr. versus, and what are you getting back in terms of the player? Michael Porter Jr., Lauri Markkanen, or Jaren Jackson Jr. What are you giving up? What are you getting back? And what does that look like moving forward?
Yeah, the writer, Sam Quinn, says Michael Porter Jr. is the cleanest fit on the board by far. Should come at a lower cost than the big names they've been linked to, like Lauri Markkanen and Jaren Jackson Jr., but his all-around offense would fit in seamlessly. To get him, the Nets would get a first-round pick years in the future, plus the second, expiring contracts, and a former lottery pick with some upside in Jaden Ivey. He's been nudged out of the role, but before he got hurt, he was having a breakout season. Maybe the Nets can re-sign him in restricted free agency. I mean, that's why both sides would do this deal in his estimation. This is, again, an article, one move that every team in the East should make. Is this a move the Pistons should make? 248-539-9797.
Well, let me ask you this question, and Tom, I want your feedback on this as well. Is this enough? It kind of seems like it might be a little bit light. You get the salaries matching up, but would the Nets, could they demand more for Michael Porter Jr.?
And because if you Google him, I mean, other teams come up. The Warriors are a team that's going to pursue him. Yeah, there could be a bidding war.
Right, and so the question is always, if my reaction is, oh yeah, I do this in a heartbeat, well, are you giving up enough?
Right.
Is there enough in this trade to where the Nets would actually do it?
Right.
Versus just, hey, one that's heavily favored for Detroit.
The other stuff I've seen out there is that it would require more. And I think the other thing here, too, is the market will inflate his value, his return. Like, to me, this would at least be another first-round pick.
Right.
Which I would have no problem with. It might be another player, too. I've seen that float out there, like Ron Holland.
Right. And so that's when you start to make a trade. It most times it's going to cause you to be a little uncomfortable. Would you be willing to part with a Ron Holland as a part of this to get Michael Porter Jr. for this year?
It becomes stickier. Like, again, the point on Porter, he's won an NBA championship. He's played in like 75 playoff games. You're getting experience, and you're getting shooting, and you're getting score. It's not like he's just a catch and shoot guy. He can create his own shot. He can generate offense at all 3 levels. This is the type of guy they should be pursuing. I don't know why anybody would hesitate to make this deal. Now, if you have to start throwing in more pieces,
then like you said, it gets a little bit sticky, and then you got to decide, well, what are we doing to the team long term?
But think about this too: when you get in the NBA playoffs, the Pistons are a surprisingly deep team, right? But typically, the way playoff basketball works is you don't run 10 guys; you're running 7 or 8, and in some cases, you're running really 6 dudes.
Right, but if you have 9 and it's part of the chemistry, like,
I know. But if you're only going to play
I
7.
know you want Cade out there more.
Yeah. And again, that's part of it. You're just going to lean on your stars more. There's the off days. But if I only need 8, I'm in a position to trade a little bit of my depth.
Sure.
Well, when you do this trade, too, Duncan Robinson's playing less.
Right.
So my thing is with Holland, are you willing to let him go? Because if I'm the Nets, I'm wanting something that I've got locked in player-wise for a couple years.
Well, I think
Ivy's...
Yeah, they'd have to like Ivy. Well, he's restricted. So their thought process would be, we're not letting him go anywhere else.
Right.
We're a bad team. We can roll the dice.
And they're willing to pay him.
Yeah.
So what young asset for the Pistons that's under control for a couple years would you be willing to give up?
So what's the list of guys we're talking about here?
Is it just Holland and Thompson?
Yeah, because I don't think you want to give up Jalen Duren unless...
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You're not doing that.
No.
Not a cheap guy, but like I'm also not moving beef stew. Identity guy, front court shooting. Those things are premium. Rim protecting, one of the best rim defenders in the NBA.
It really comes down to Holland or Thompson.
Well, and I think you'd rank them Thompson's ahead of Holland.
But you have Holland for one more year.
Right.
It's a toughie. You hate giving up, man. You got to, if you want to get something, you got to give.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up. It's like if my initial reaction is I'd do this in a heartbeat, then it doesn't feel like it feels like it's more one-sided in favor of the Pistons.
Yeah, my belief is there's a better deal out there for the Nets.
Right.
But this is the same league that had Luka get traded last year. I mean, you don't know what you're dealing with.
And just to add another layer to this. So this is a CBS article. Bleacher Report, Jake Fisher had the report that the Pistons have internally discussed Michael Porter Jr. So we're not just throwing names out to see what sticks. This has been a name that reportedly the Pistons are considering. Would you guys like to see this happen? It's 97-1.